But Donald Trump, who is the front runner for your party's nomination for the president, last night put out a press release, and then he hammered it home with a speech in South Carolina that he wants to basically ban Muslim immigration. And as a high-profile Republican, I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I disagree with it. I question its constitutionality as well, but I disagree with it. I think the right way to go is to be prudent now about what you do on admissions from countries where terrorists have traveled to or from. It's what we saw in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
It's what happened after 9/11. The Bush administration reduced the number of refugees, and particularly looking at countries from which we were seeing terrorists come from.
You know, Vice President,
And they did it on several other areas, because refugee travel is a very small piece of it. You get far more tourist visas, far more educational visas. Those are the bigger areas that you need to be looking at. But after Paris and San Bernardino, I do think you need to be putting a much tighter grid on these on areas that we have seen terrorists come from.
Mm-hmm. And there's some nuance in here, but if I can, on the religious point, you've been a big proponent for religious freedom, and I know Vice President Cheney, I don't know if you saw his remarks, but he said it goes against everything we stand for. Would you agree with the former Vice President?
I agree with what Cheney's sentiment is, and I've stood for religious liberty around the world for all faiths, and I'm a strong believer in this. I do think you have to look at the security issue on the countries from where some people are traveling to or from, and put a tighter grid.
Yeah, and that's kind of a concern you've expressed in recent weeks with the Syrian refugees. Now you have had some faith leaders kind of encourage you. The Lutherans, the Catholics, the Methodist leaders in the state have kind of called to have they swayed you at all? Or?
No, because I'd be happy to take more refugees from other parts of the world if it's an issue of whether we're opening or not.
Yeah,
happy to take more from Myanmar or Congo.
Yeah,
other places. If it's an issue of us being open and welcoming, but you have to put prudence in this. And the number one concern, the number one job of the federal government, and one of our top functions is security of our people.